What's going on, guys? Welcome back to 100% Chelsea and welcome to your Fulham versus Chelsea opposition preview. Obviously at Craven Cottage, as you can tell, it's the smaller stadium than ours in West London. And obviously we're here with Jack from Fulhamish. Mate, how you doing?
Yeah, very well. How are you?
I'm not bad. Are you looking forward to the Waitrose derby?
There's a bit more to it this time round because obviously we've just brought in a new manager in Scott Parker. When we came down to your place, we just got RANIER in and he won his last game, and he's all like since we've last spoken. You know, we've spiralled out of control, and now we've sacked another manager for the 2 Premier League seasons in a row for us. We've sacked 2 managers in one season, which is ludicrous. And so yeah, Scott Parker could probably get the. You know, he knows this is a huge game in terms of how the fans feel about it. So he'll be the one to motivate the players.
Is he just there to steady the ship?
Yeah.
Because is that what his job's going to be?
Well, I just saw his press conference notes, and he said it was more like an audition for him, just to see if he can get the full-time role. I very much see the situation similar to Darren Moore at West Bromwich Albion, where he didn't keep West Brom up, but he did a very, very good job. Beat Man United, he basically won City the league that day. So if he can get a few impressive results on the way to relegation, which will happen, by the way, then there's every so chance that he will keep his job. But there are a couple of names that I'd rather have. Not rather have, but I would like to have at the club. For
Like who?
Lee Johnson from Bristol City. David Wagner from, once of Huddersfield. They're the 2 that really stick out to me. I don't want to be going down the Moyes Allardyce route.
Gary Rowett?
Yeah, we'll take Gary Rowett. Actually, no, I wouldn't. Hold on. I wouldn't take him. I would have taken him when he was at Birmingham, and then he was at Derby. He's a very much nearly manager. You know, he can't quite get a team up. And at Stoke, it didn't go right for him at all, and that's why they've now brought in Nathan Jones of Luton. No, I wouldn't take Gary Rowett. That's the answer to my question.
That's fair enough. I think I agree. He's a nearly manager, but he's a championship level manager. I mean, I think the biggest thing I think for you guys that went wrong is that you spent so much in the window. That was 100 million, 106, and 106. You brought in Seri. You brought in like 3 or Zambo Anguissa.
Andre Frank, Zambo Anguissa.
Oh, Zambo Anguissa.
Yeah.
I was going to say, who the fuck is Zambo Anguissa? He sounds like I don't know, Madagascar international. Never heard of him. He's French.
No, he's from the Cameroon, I think.
I think he's both. Like, he's one of those people who's born in.
Yeah. No, it's just someone from some random country. I don't know. I didn't say Madagascar for any particular reason. Just Madagascar, because it's But I mean, he spent so much. What's going on with recruitment? Why did it go? Was it a case of maybe excitement from the Khans, or was it because obviously you started so well. Well, you didn't start well last season. You had Jokanovic there. He took you on a run from December onwards, got you to the playoffs. You won the playoffs. What went wrong? Is it a case of maybe you just went too fast, too quick, or is it just from this season onwards the recruitment just didn't work out?
I said on Monday on the podcast that it was just down to complete naivety from us. We just thought that if we spend this amount of money, it will almost guarantee us Premier League status, and it's just not the case. And I always compare it back to the Wolves situation. I've said it so many times this season. Wolves had a core squad, and all they did was just add 3 or 4 very decent players like some Moutinho, Jimenez. Obviously, they kept Ruben Neves, but they had that kind of Portuguese core, and that's why they're doing so well, and that's why they will survive, and they will go on to get into Europe in the next couple of seasons. We thought we were going to take that kind of similar strategy. We didn't. We just spunked 100 million on random players who have been there and done it, like Andre Schürrle. I know Seri was a very good signing, but it hasn't quite worked out for him, although he has been very good at times this season. Mawson's just been very unlucky with injuries. I mean, he got injured by changing his boots at half-time. He's been out for the rest of the season.
Really?
Yeah. I can't remember what game it was. He got substituted. And that was how he got injured. I mean, the luck just hasn't been out.
Wait. How can you get injured doing that?
I don't know.
It's himself trying to grab something at home.
Yeah, he Rio Ferdinand himself playing FIFA or something. But no, I mean, seriously though, right? Either the bootmakers just completely fucked up and they lost themselves a brand deal, or Alfie Mawson. I mean, he's a solid signing. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But we saw at Swansea last year, the same issues which you're seeing at Fulham. Andre Schürrle is an interesting one I want to touch on because obviously again there's a lot of Chelsea in Fulham that you had. Andre Schürrle as I like to call him, who we should never have sold in my opinion. Claudio Ranieri, obviously you've just sacked, was Chelsea manager, and Scott Parker. Claudio Ranieri's last signing for Chelsea was a pretty solid player for us, and she's now went on to Spurs and won PFA Player of the Year, but Football Writers Player of the Year apparently. In 2011. Claudio Ranieri and Schürrle and Scott Parker, you know, why has it with them? For example, Claudio Ranieri, you know, a defensively solid manager, proved it at Leicester, proved it at Chelsea. Nancy got them solid to begin with. Obviously, defensively, that was your biggest issue at the beginning of the season because you played like basically run at teams when you couldn't really do it. Why did it not work out? Why was Claudio Ranieri in such a position where it just simply was physically impossible with this team to get those clean sheets and get those points on the board?
I think it's two things. One is that our defence isn't good enough anyway for the Premier League. You know, Adoy, Ream, Le Marchand. Mawson's probably the best defender we have, and he's been out for half the season, like I just said. And the other reason is, when we take the lead, we sit back far too deep. You saw it against West Ham, you saw it against Wolves, Burnley. You sit back way too deep, you invite the pressure on, and we just concede way too many shots, especially inside our own box. And it's almost like an air of inevitability when we take the lead that we're obviously going to concede. It happened against West Ham and Wolves. I remember being here, and literally we were just sat, about 6 or 7 players just outside the box, and Wolves just managed to get through us. They're a good team, and you know, their games we'll look back on against Leicester as well. We should have won that game. There's been moments where there's been potential and we've been outside the relegation zone throughout the duration of the game, and then we conceded and we'd be right back in it again. But I haven't enjoyed the season at all. It's been awful. Claudio Ranieri's pretty much drained all the confidence from key players of last season, like Kearney and Sessegnon. I think he's been just as bad as Felix Magath was when he was in charge.
Really?
No, seriously. I'm being serious. Like, I've never disliked a manager more than Claudio Ranieri, apart from Felix Magath. How he won Leicester a league, I'll never know.
He had 3 players.
You did. I think you had Jamie Vardy, Riyad Mahrez, and N'Golo Kante. I mean, so, key players that we do want to talk about. Tom Kearney, touted as, you know, this player's coming to the Premier League, will say it like Ryan Sessegnon. To the majority of the season, let's be honest, you were going to get 40 million for him in the summer, in the January beforehand. To be honest, I wouldn't even pay 20 for him now. I think he's been shocking. Why are they? I understand you're saying it's a confidence thing, but is you think it's just maybe they're just not good enough?
Yeah, you could say that. I think maybe we underestimate the Premier League a little bit. We saw how easy we found Sessegnon and Kearney to create chances in the Championship was, especially in that incredible team. Personally, I find it quite good that Sessegnon hasn't been overhyped this season. He was before the season, but he hasn't, you know, lived up to his expectations, because personally I'd like just to keep him. I think the Championship next season, if we can keep a core of our squad, we can maybe go again and try and get back promoted back to the Premier League. But Kearney had a bit of injury problems this season. He's missed a few key games, especially at the start, which we could have really done with him. And since he's come back, he's good. But again, he's just missing a little bit of that Premier League quality, and I just think maybe the Championship is his level, or lower league, Premier League. West Ham were always knocking on the door for Tom Kearney. I don't think West Ham will be knocking on the door for him anymore, which I find good, because I'd rather keep him than not. And my only issue is with Alexander Mitrovic. I really want him to stay next season, but no, he'll go Everton. I mean, Everton will just buy him, won't they? Or like Watford or Palace or someone like that.
I'll take him as a backup centre forward for us.
Yeah.
I think obviously Giroud is 30 odd. Why are you pushing me?
You're nearly out of shot.
You're nearly out of shot. You are out of shot. Shut up. I love you. Thank you for putting me back in place. But I think Mitrovic he's a solid centre forward. Maybe he's not scored as many since the turn of the year, but I think that he's definitely a player which can prove it. And I think for Fulham he's too nasty. Do you know what I mean? If you have players that fit certain moulds, and I think for Chelsea you do just need a shit. And I think, we've seen it with Didier Drogba can do it, Costa did it, Terry. We've had dickheads, and they do really well for us. And I think, when I say dickheads, obviously they've all been superb players. I'm not saying they're nasty guys, but I'm saying, they've got that streak in them, which means, they can do what it takes to win a game. And I feel like Mitrovic, if he got the service, I think that he would definitely be someone who would do well at Chelsea.
Well, I'd watch out for him this weekend. I think, with Scott Parker really trying to motivate these players, I think Mitrovic, knowing this is a derby, he'll be really bullish, especially at home. He'll try and hold up the ball against the likes of Luiz and Rudiger, and that could really be something that will play into our favour. But the result this weekend doesn't really matter for us because we're already basically relegated. We'd just like to beat Chelsea just to mess up your season, really. And
our season's already pretty messed up, mate.
Well, I mean, you beat Spurs the other day, and it's a good recovery from the Man City game and the final. But this would be great if we were to beat you, because I think there'd be a complete head loss in the Chelsea camp.
Are you that set on going down then? You said nothing, no party that says, even I understand there's 10 points. I understand it's a massive gap to make up. That with 10 games left, maybe a little bit more, why not? We've seen it happen before. We saw it happen with Leicester. Is there not a little part of you that wants to have that little bit of positivity to say you can go on and do it?
Well, I thought we could maybe before West Ham, and we took the lead and we lost. And at Southampton, we put in one of the worst performances I've seen all season. So there's nothing that gives me hope apart from the fact that maybe Scott Parker, and now the fact that Ranieri's gone, that maybe he can let the players off the leash and we can start singing, Scotty's at the wheel and instead of Ollie's at the wheel, because that's a fantastic song by Manchester United. Look, there's a chance, but we're playing Chelsea, Liverpool, City in our next 4 games. Leicester away as well, and then we've got quite a nice run for the end of the season. Everton, Bournemouth, Cardiff, Newcastle, Wolves, one more in there as well. I can't quite remember, but there's a chance to pick up points, but I don't see it happening. Really, I don't. No.
But we'll do one thing. What's your predicted lineup? Who are we going to see potentially facing Chelsea?
We'll go Rico. See, okay, I'm going to go with what Parker will think is right. I think Rico, Christie, Lamarchon, Nordveit.
Is that the same Nordveit that was at West Ham?
It was, yeah. And then Joe Bryan left back. Kearney should play, so it'll be Kearney. I don't know where Seri is. I don't know. Seri should be playing, and then Chambers, and then Barbel, Mitrovic, Sessegnon.
So 4-3-3.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, that's the 11 I said that should start against Southampton, and it was completely different. We had the likes of Anguissa in there, and who started? Dennis Adoy, who is just not really that good at football. But it doesn't really matter what 11 we're going to play. We'll lose 1-0 to Willian.
Oh mate, if Willian scores, I think that'll be him signing his 5-year deal and getting a pay rise probably. But I think, for me, I think there's definitely. If we don't win by 3 or more goals, for me personally, I will be disappointed. That's my honest opinion, because we are, like you said, you guys are so flat at the minute. You do have that new manager high. Yeah, I guess that is something.
It could be interesting. That's the only thing that I'm going to take as positives in this game. You would expect some kind of reaction. You should have seen the Fulham fans in the week. It was one of the most toxic atmospheres I've ever been at.
What's the Fulham toxic atmosphere like?
Well, we've all got our prawn sandwiches up in the air, the avocados flying about as well. So, but
I wasn't staying there. I was just wondering what it was like.
No, we had a few flags out saying risk-free, risk-free. That's what we described Claudio Ranieri's appointment as risk-free, and then it was like risk-free. Are you having a laugh? Or I have it on my phone somewhere. Yeah. Are you watching Tony Khan? That was it. And then someone brought out the Slavisa flag as well, again. Saying Slavisa making Fulham great again, which I thought was ridiculous, unnecessary. Like, move on.
Do you think he might come back though, Jokanovic?
No way. I mean, he didn't get on with some of the ownership. They always argued about transfers and the transfer policy, etc. He'll never come back. But what Fulham fans should do is just cherish the memories that we have of last season, move on, and stop talking about it. Stop talking about Slavisa. He's gone. He's not dead, but he's gone.
I agree. There's definitely part. I mean, I feel the same about Antonio Conte. Earlier in the season, I thought it was disappointing we sacked him, but we had to move on. And I think there's definitely, there's a parallel between that. And I think it's kind of your transfer policy. Again, you mentioned that. How does it roll? Is it very similar to Chelsea in terms of you almost obviously it was his was it something Khan, Tony Khan, and then you got
Khan and Shahid Khan.
Shahid
Khan's the dad.
Okay, Tony Khan is the son. Is he very much like a Marino Gravascar-esque figure where he makes the transfers?
Yeah.
And then they just do get on with it.
Have you heard of the Moneyball scheme?
Yeah.
It's a Moneyball.
Explain it for people that don't know what Moneyball is.
I mean, I'm not the best person to ask, but I think it's buying players based on stats and their pedigree at former clubs. That's what we've been doing, and I think one time I read that we were signed someone based on their FIFA stats, which doesn't really make any sense. I don't know if that's true or not.
Do you remember who it was?
No, I actually don't. I can't remember who it was.
Question. So if the Moneyball, I mean, where's the logic behind Ryan Babel?
I mean, you asked me. I have no idea. I've got no idea.
Scott, go on.
He's been decent so far.
No. To be fair, he started quite well. No, his performance against Spurs was very good, but and he hit the bar on Wednesday night, but and he scored against West Ham. So he actually has been quite a good signing. The one I don't understand is Lazar Markovic. I mean, this guy I watched.
Shocking.
Well, I watched him play for Hull City when they were in the Prem and we were in the Championship, and we dicked them 4-1. Sessegnon scored a brace, and Markovic was awful. And we signed him on deadline day with Nordveit as well. Doesn't make any sense. We were linked with Gary Cahill. He didn't want to cut. Okay, I've got something to say about Gary Cahill as well.
Gary Cahill and Danny Drinkwater were both linked with you, weren't they?
But my logic is Gary Cahill's not going to get in this Chelsea team, yeah? So he's either going to go, I'm either going to sit on the bench and earn 110k a week, or I'll come to Fulham and try and keep them up in the Premier League and play every week. What does he choose? Oh, sit on the bench for Chelsea, yeah.
Could you afford 110 grand a week for him?
Yeah, we're a rich club. We have like the 4th or 5th richest owner in the Premier League, and we're going to go down after one season because we spunk too much money on shit players. I'm furious with the situation, but it's come to a point now where I just laugh about it because we lost to Oldham in the 3rd round of the FA Cup. It's just really funny. It's fantastic.
I don't know whether to laugh or cry. See, 'cause for me, it's just my so obviously I've got the Chelsea part of my brain, and then the football fan, and then the football business bit. And I'm going to look at the football business, and it's making me want to scream.
Yeah.
The football fan, they're going, this is shit. Like being a Fulham fan right now, it is shit.
Yeah.
And then obviously Chelsea fan, I'm just laughing. But I think other than that, I think it's just a case of there is some massive issues, deep rooted issues within Fulham, I think, and I think it's almost the same structure. It is the same structure as Chelsea, and it's a prime example of how it doesn't work. But if you just spend the money, but you need to spend it correctly. Do you think Tony Khan may be relieved of his duties as a person who does the transfers, or do you think it's a case of his dad with a massive, amazing tash is going to be kicking on with it?
It's tricky because obviously you can't fire your own son, can you? That's tricky. I think
You can.
there's
You're doing shit. Get the fuck off.
I know, but it's difficult. I think I used to sing the praises of Tony Khan quite a lot. Obviously, we went up and he made some decent signings. Mitrovic Target in January basically changed our season, but it hasn't worked this campaign, and he is to blame for it. And there was an interesting statement put out by the club yesterday saying that we know that Claudio's not all to blame for what's happened this season. So I don't know what they were talking about, either Jokanovic or his own son Tony. Look, I think it's just very, very tricky. I think maybe he was a small fish in a big pond in terms of signing for the Premier League, signing players for the Premier League. And I think the Championship maybe is a little bit more easier, but then again, I have no idea.
Is there a big gap between the Championship and the Premier League now, do you reckon? Do you think it's almost too big because we've seen a lot of teams over the past few years make that step up and not stay up and really, really struggle? I mean, Huddersfield were very fortunate last year. I mean, you guys this year are another example. Huddersfield are, let's be frank, a mid-table Premier League Championship team that went on a good run at the beginning of last season. Is the gap too big between the Premier League and the Championship now?
No, not at all. I think right now the Championship's stronger than ever. We've got so many teams. Norwich, Leeds. I hate to say it, but Leeds are a good team. Bristol City, Preston, Birmingham. They've all got very, very good long-term plans. Again, I said this on Monday, and if they were to go up, I think that who will go up this season will be West Brom, Sheffield United and Norwich. I think Leeds will bottle promotion again.
I agree, which annoys me. I just looking at. I'll level with you. I hate going to Birmingham. I just don't like Birmingham. So if we can avoid that, that'd be nice. Leeds, as much as we as a Chelsea fan we despise Leeds. If you could come up, also a good night out in Leeds as well.
Yeah, that's good.
Norwich is good. As what was the other one we said? Sheffield.
United.
Oh, Sheffield's brilliant. I love a bit of Sheffield.
I mean, the fact that Sheffield United might go up after Sheffield Wednesday got to a playoff final 3 years ago, it is quite magnificent. I mean, they were in League One at the time as well, Sheffield United. Chris Wilder's done an amazing job. But to answer your actual question, the gap between the Championship and Premier League in terms of the top 6 to the Premier League, it is not that. Like, a lot of teams can go up and thrive. And you only look at a few examples of, you look at Swansea, they survived for many years, West Brom. You look at Huddersfield and us. We're 2 small examples of how it doesn't work when you go up to the Premier League. If Norwich go up, they will stay. If Leeds go up, they will stay. If Sheffield United go up, they will stay purely based on the team ethic they've got. I admire them. I'm jealous of those teams, but we had our heydays in the Premier League, in the Championship last season, and it's time to go back down and try and do it all over again.
Well, listen, Jack, thank you very much. Appreciate you coming on. Obviously, make sure you check out Fulhamish. One last thing, give me a score prediction.
It'll either be 1-0, Willian in the 84th minute, it'll be 3-0, Higuain, Pedro and Hudson-Odoi.
I like that from you.
I love Hudson-Odoi. I mean, he's an young English player. Southgate, get him in the team. And this is one thing to say. Sessegnon, out of all these really good English youngsters that we've got, Sessegnon is now at the bottom of the pecking order, which is very frustrating to see, but it's only for him to work at it and try and get back up there.
Well, listen, I'll tell you what, we'll do a video on that. We'll have a chat about Hudson-Odoi. We'll have a chat about Sessegnon as well. We'll get that sorted. But listen, guys, obviously make sure you subscribe to 100% Chelsea. All social media links are down on Facebook, Snapchat, Twitter and Instagram, as well as a link to head across to Fulhamish, where I'll be giving my opposition preview of the game on Sunday. Obviously, if you spin the camera around now, there you go, see? Look, I know we moved a lot, and that's because, Jack was going over there. I didn't want to leave him on his own. So, we're over there. 2:05 kick-off on Sunday. We will see you there. Make sure you subscribe, like, comment, share, all that good stuff, and we will see you later. Say thanks to Jack. Spin it.
Yeah, cheers. Thanks very much.
Cheers. Bye.